Good evening, everyone. Hope you are all well. Thank you for joining our Teaching Healthcare at New York City Public Schools webinar. I am Taisha Morin. I support teacher recruitment here at New York City Public School. Tonight's webinar is about how to teach at New York City Public Schools as a healthcare CTE teacher through the transitional A pathway. So before we begin, a few notes. Use the Q&A function to submit feedback, questions, ideas, and more. We'll share what comes in throughout the session. Use your camera function on your phone to easily open links via QR codes throughout the webinar. Don't worry if you miss something. We will send a recording of tonight's presentation in a follow-up email in 24 to 48 hours. Please wait until the uh, near end of the presentation as we'll be covering a large amount of information and we'll respond to select questions, time permitting, and you can find detailed answers to many commonly asked questions in our online support center, where you can also submit a personalized question to our team. I want everyone to write down this website, teachnyc.net. It is the ultimate resource for all things related to teaching at New York City Public Schools. It's been redesigned to provide great new resources and tools to help you learn about NYCPS and find a pathway to teaching that is right for you. So again, teachnyc.net. So tonight we're going to speak about the transitional A pathway to becoming a healthcare CTE teacher. If you are a healthcare professional who is thinking about shifting to teaching from your industry area, you are in the right place. If you are already a certified CTE teacher or certified teacher in another subject area, join our general monthly info sessions to learn more about our application process. So we have a lot to cover tonight, so let's get started. We're hoping that you walk away with the following tonight: an overview of New York City Public Schools, knowing the key details of career and technical education, as well as an understanding of the CTE healthcare landscape at NYCPS, including why it's such a big priority for this administration, understanding the application and certification process to becoming a CTE healthcare teacher, and begin determining your own eligibility and pathway to becoming a CTE healthcare teacher. In this section, we will do a brief overview of New York City Public Schools, a snapshot of the district, benefits of a career with New York City Public Schools, and teacher supports and opportunities. At NYCPS, we have leaders who understand the vital role that our schools play in shaping students' lives and communities. Our Chancellor, Kamar Samuel, states, as a lifelong educator who has served our system as a teacher, principal, and superintendent, and as a parent of two NYCPS students, I know firsthand that our schools are the heart of our communities. I believe that our students from early childhood to graduation deserve schools that are safe, academically rigorous, and truly integrated. They should know that their children are learning the fundamentals, starting with reading, and are being challenged academically, guided by high expectations, strong instruction, and teachers who believe in them. So, why teach at New York City Public Schools? When you join New York City Public Schools, you join the largest, most dynamic district in the nation, and we're going to take a closer look of what that looks like. So NYCPS has over 900,000 students who speak over 180 languages, a network of 77 1,000 fellow teachers and New York City educators that have the unique privilege and responsibility to jumpstart the next generation of innovators, leaders, and citizens. NYCPS is comprised of 1,600 schools that are diverse as our students and the distinct neighborhoods we serve. Within our schools, teachers build personal connections with their students, colleagues, and families to support relationship building and learning outcomes. To give you a sense of the growing need of teachers, the New York State law limiting class size means the need for teachers across New York City public schools is growing significantly. We are hiring at record rates and need to be thinking long term about how we are going to make sure we have a strong pipeline of high quality educators to meet the needs across NYCPS. As of this year, teacher salaries at New York City Public Schools start at 71,314 for a bachelor's and no experience and 80,166 with master's and no experience. Starting salaries vary based on education, experience, and they can earn additional compensation for teaching after school, summer school programs, and for teaching in demanding environments. As their career progresses at NYCPS, teachers earn longevity bonuses and have opportunities to move up salary steps. These are the starting salaries, but we like to give a sense of what you could expect your salary to be as your career develops. This slide looks ahead of what your salary would be in the future at New York State Public Schools. If you're currently in your 8th year of teaching with your master's plus your 30 credits and professional development courses, you will be at 106,907. If you have 15 years of teaching at NYCPS with your master's degrees plus 30 credits and professional development courses, you would be making 128,277. Remember, this is using the pay scale from the 2026 school season, so these rates are subject to increase with yearly raises negotiated on your UFT contract. And here you can find additional resources regarding salary on the New York City Public Schools webpage, as well as the UFT websites by accessing the QR codes. Especially on the UFT resources, you can access the salary schedule to have a closer look to make predictions about what your potential salaries may be. Comprehensive health insurance plans. So right now we're going to take a deeper look at our robust benefits, which include comprehensive health insurance plan, which includes dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Some plans don't require any employee contribution. Annual retention bonuses prorated during your first year and increases each year. Membership in the United Federation of Teachers, which is UFT, enrollment into a pension plan. NYCPS employees are eligible for many additional benefits, including commuter benefits, a college savings program, and employee discounts on everything from technology and media to travel and education. In addition, scholarships, financial incentives, and other special programs are made available for many employees. As a CTE healthcare teacher at NYCPS, you get to enjoy a predictable daytime work schedule, which includes weekends off, paid holidays, summer breaks, and have time to recharge, pursue passions, and maintain well being. There are also exciting loan forgiveness programs you could be eligible for as an NYCPS teacher. NYCPS employees may also be eligible for the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. The PSLF program forgives the remaining balance on your direct loans after you've made the equivalent of 120 qualifying monthly payments under an acceptable repayment plan and while working for an eligible employer full time. New teachers at NYCPS hit the ground running with professional resources and learning opportunities tailored just for them, in addition to many career development opportunities available for all teachers. We offer robust supports for our new teachers, which include in person, online, and in community settings. Some of these include New Teacher Week, which is an annual event where new teachers can get inspiration from special guest speakers, learn about key policies, engage with the UFT, and network with fellow teachers. Then we have school based mentoring, which new hires are assigned an experienced and trained mentor teacher to support professional growth throughout your first year. And then we have First Class Newsletter, which is a monthly digital bulletin for first year teachers that spotlights vetted resources, teaching tips, and answers to common new teacher questions. Teachers in New City Public Schools, no matter where they are in their careers, also have access to professional development opportunities at their schools, including coaching, professional development days, and after school learning opportunities. In addition to school based supports, optional development opportunities are made available by various teams, including New York City Public Schools offices as well as the UFT. We also offer digital resources for busy teachers to find resources for their classroom and regularly stay connected to opportunities to extend their learning impact. So, who are we looking for? New York City Public Schools is dedicated to attracting and retaining the very best teachers for our schools. We are looking for passionate, collaborative, and committed teachers who reflect the incredible diversity of our student body. Passionate, our team of exceptional educators are passionate about educating urban students, truly believing in the power of education can make in our students' lives. Collaborative, our teachers thrive on constant learning and collaboration with their colleagues. Committed, our teachers go above and beyond for students, understanding students' challenges and embracing their potential. Diverse, we see teachers who are as diverse as our students. So help put our students on the path to college, careers, and a lifetime of learning. And what are some benefits to teaching at New York City Public Schools? Make a difference in the lives of your fellow New Yorkers, maybe even those in your local community. Focus on building better futures. Use your skills to help develop the nation's next leaders, innovators, and educators. Build relationships with colleagues dedicated to a shared goal. You'd be joining a robust network of over 70,000 teachers, as we mentioned. So, we'll start by focusing on an overview of career and technical education. What it is, the healthcare areas we see the greatest need, and what it is like to teach CTE as a healthcare teacher at New York City Public Schools. So, what is CTE? Career and technical education, also known as CTE, teachers provide academic and technical instruction alongside work based learning experience for high school students in New York City Public Schools. NYCPS currently offers 260 plus programs of study across 130 schools, spanning 16 CTE industry areas, which include healthcare or health sciences, and we'll dive deeper into that later in the presentation. So, why is NYCPS so committed to expanding CTE opportunities? And what do CTE teachers find so inspiring and meaningful? Teaching CTE is a great way to use your industry experience to prepare students for life after high school and to introduce them to career opportunities and requirements. Students are able to develop skills needed for specific career areas through their hands on learning experiences in high school. We are excited to take a few minutes to hear about the impact of CTE at NYCPS from our students and CTE teachers. So I'm going to click this video so you can hear about the impact of CTE.
On outside the classroom.
So one of the state
The best part of the CTE program is the real world knowledge.
The hands-on and the curriculum.
Learning new things and being able to pursue what I really want to do in my life.
I would describe Career and Technical Education program as a pathway for students who are intrigued by working with their hands, by building things, and have that engineer mindset.
Career and Tech Ed now prepares kids for both college and careers. It allows students choices, and that's really what school's about.
When you mesh college readiness with career readiness, you get a well-rounded individual, someone who can be the leader of tomorrow.
What they really receive here at a career technical education program is the exposure to the industry that they could pursue.
Industry partners are key to the success of CT schools because they guide us on what's up and coming.
They let us know what's going on outside the classroom.
So one of the state requirements is that our kids get 60 hours of internship. Those internship hours are through our partners.
Let's face it, CTE, the first word is career. They provide that real-world career experience for our students. So without them, we wouldn't have that.
It was amazing. I interned alongside two doctors. There were two gynecologists. I was listening to doctors' stories. I was listening to them put information together, and it's just an experience that blows your mind. And like, I plan on going back next year.
I'm now attending a construction skills program, which is going to be able to get me into the union, which the school works with.
The industry partners are critical for our success. At each term, we can place up to 32, 36 sometimes, students in restaurants.
We usually get about 5 or 6 students go straight into the union right after high school. We also have students that get hired by our industry partners.
So what's interesting about CT schools is that their graduation rates and their attendance rates are higher than normal academic high schools across the city.
Students come to our school with a passion for whatever it is that they want to study, and that motivates them.
Not only are we excelling academically, but we're excelling in our CTE courses, so we know what to expect when we go to college. It gives you an advantage over other students.
The difference between a CTE graduate and a traditional graduate from high school is that the CTE student brings a level of professionalism and a commitment to a career.
CTE is all about mentoring and guiding our students into the right direction, into the right career.
The hope is that they choose what's best for them. If this is it, then great. We'll push them, we'll support them, carry them if we have to. They have choices.
And those skills are always going to be with you. They're yours, they're yours to keep. It's in your toolbox. Even down the pipe, if you decide, this is what I probably want to do, well, you have something to fall back on.
Once we graduate high school, we know all this stuff and we get our certifications.
We come in here and we have many opportunities and we can strive and we can form our own careers here. And not only do we start our career, but we enhance our careers so that when we do go into the job industry, we start out at the top with the best education possible.
We hope you enjoyed learning about the impact of CTE from our students and teachers. Now we will explore CTE healthcare pathways. Our rigorous CTE programs blend focused academics with intensive study in high demand industries such as nursing, medical assisting, emergency medical services, and more. And you can access the QR code on this slide to see all the healthcare pathways and their extensive descriptions about the required work experience you should have to qualify for these pathways. Let's take a look at a few New York City Public Schools healthcare schools and programs. Later in the presentation, we will discuss how you can search and learn more about other New York City Public Schools healthcare schools and programs. Here we have Clara Barton High School, which is one of the oldest schools in the country to provide CTE education for healthcare pathways. Clara Barton currently offers the largest number of specialized CTE pathways in healthcare. Programs include licensed practical nursing, dental assisting, dental lab technician, vision care, and more. The school is known for its rigorous programs and providing students with opportunities to work with a number of local healthcare partners. Next, we have Bronx STEAM Center, is New York City Public Schools' second STEAM center, and the first STEAM center focused on healthcare careers. STEAM centers are recognized as an innovative model in CTE education. Bronx STEAM will draw students from 10 select partner schools in the Bronx who will spend half of their day in the 11th and 12th grade at a STEAM, engaging in hands-on project-based career connected learning that will culminate in them earning at least, if not more, one or more industry credentials. Bronx STEAM is partnered with Montefiore Medical Center, who is supporting with all aspects of the student experience. Bronx Team will also um, has launched in September with pathways including medical assisting, certified nursing assistant, and cybersecurity. But we will be growing to add more pathways in diagnostic medicine, EMT, and more. Then we have the Northwell School of Health Sciences, which is partnered with Northwell Health, NYC's largest healthcare employer. Northwell School of Health Science combines academic rigor with practical clinical experience. Its pathways includes pre-nursing, medical assisting, healthcare management, and behavioral mental health. And these are just a few, as we said. Later in the presentation, we'll show you how you can search up schools and programs to see NYCPS's extensive programs and offerings for healthcare pathways. We will now dive into CTE, teacher certification pathways, exploring the most common options for healthcare, providing examples, and guiding you on how to choose the pathway that best suits you. So if you're a career changer, the best pathway to become a CTE teacher is through Trans A certification. A Trans A teaching certificate allows the employment of individuals with industry experience who meet the educational and/or occupational requirements of the New York State Education Department for a career and technical industry area. What is unique about Trans A certification is that it allows you to teach before receiving an initial certificate, which is the typical first certificate for most NYCPS teachers. So let's take a look at the difference between traditional teaching certification as well as Trans A certification. In a traditional teaching program, candidates must earn your teaching certificate before they can teach in a classroom. They typically have to obtain a bachelor's degree in education, which typically takes about 4 years, and requires specific coursework and in-field teacher training. On the other hand, Trans A certification is a non-traditional route to becoming a teacher, allows candidates with industry experience to share your industry-related knowledge with students without having to go through a teacher preparation program, and you earn a CTE teaching certificate without prior teaching experience. A little bit about Trans-A certification. Trans-A certification is provided by the New York State Education Department. We'll review the process tonight, but note that we do not make final awards determinations. That's made by the New York State Education Department. A Trans-A certificate allows you to teach grades 7 to 12 for 3 years. Within those 3 years, you will need to remain at the same NYCPS school and complete coursework requirements to apply for an initial certificate, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the presentation. And here we have the CTE industry area. You can use this QR code to review NYCED's experience requirements by title to identify the industry area in which you have the most experience in and or education. This tool gives a detailed description of what work experience NYCED is looking for your particular industry area and pathway. So in this case, the industry area would be health sciences. So under health sciences, when you scan into this QR code, you will see all the available industry areas under the health science title, which include the practical nursing, emergency medical services, etc. And there you can access detailed description of what type of work experience NICED is looking for. There are many different pathways teacher candidates can take to receive Trans-A certification. The pathway you choose will likely depend on your education level, your industry experience, and your industry credentials if you have any. Tonight, we're going to go over some of the most common pathways and we'll share information about where you can get more details about all the pathway options. As stated, there are multiple pathways available for Trans-A certification. This chart here shows at a high level the multiple pathways available for Trans-A certification. Again, the pathway you choose will likely depend on your education level, your industry experience, and any industry credentials you may have. And we say this is high level because there's another resource we will show you on the next slide that gives you allows you to see the particular requirements for your particular industry area, because this is the more generic version, but each industry area might have specific requirements across pathways. So that is why it's important to see what the particular requirements are for the industry area and pathway you're interested in. Yeah. So here's the tool I was referring to. It's called the New York State Certification Requirements Search Page. This is where you're going to search the relevant pathway requirements for your industry area. Be sure to check this web page carefully to find the specific requirements for your industry area, as they are unique to that industry area. When searching on this page, you will input the following information in the drop-down menu. Select Career and Technical Teacher as your area of interest, and then the industry area which you're interested in as a subject area. In this case, it will be CTE Health Sciences. The grade level drop-down will only offer grades 7 to 12. As you know, CTE and Trans-A certification allows you to only teach grades 7 to 12, and then you will select the specific title you want to see the qualifications for, and the title would be the specific industry area under the health science title that you are looking for the requirements for. Then you'll select Transitional A as a cert license and press search to see all the specific pathway requirements for your industry area. There are some items that are required for a Trans-A certificate across all pathways. The requirements include completing 3 workshops, committing to teach at the same NYCPS school for 3 years of your Trans-A certification, receiving a year of mentoring and daily supervision for your first 20 days of teaching, fingerprint clearance. We'll talk a bit more about some of these requirements tonight, and you can also find more information in the QR codes provided. So pathways A and B are the most common pathways CTE candidates use to get their Trans A certification. To qualify for pathway A, you must have at least an associate's degree in the field you are applying for and a minimum of 2 years of work experience in that field. Pathway B is also very popular. To qualify for this pathway, you must have at least a high school diploma and at least 4 years of experience in the field you are applying for, and you must take and pass the New York State Teacher Certification Exam, communicative and qualitative skills, and you can find more about this in the QR code provided in the slide. Some additional pathways we see candidates use are pathways G and J. To qualify for pathways G, you must have at least 2 years of work experience in the field you are applying for, as well as hold an industry credential or pass a state approved industry exam. To qualify for Pathway J, you must have a bachelor's degree or higher in the field and either 1 year of work experience or an industry credential. As you can see, each pathway is unique, and there are further nuances within pathways depending on your industry area. You want to be sure to check the state certifications requirements page and industry requirements page to see what you might qualify for. So we know that navigating pathways can be quite complex, so let's talk through a couple of examples. In this example here, we have Lena. Lena has a bachelor's degree in nursing from NYU, and she has worked for 2 years as a registered nurse in New York City. Therefore, Lena should pursue pathway A because she has a bachelor's degree in the industry field, as well as 2 years of work experience in the field. Note that according to the New York State Education Department's requirements page, a registered nurse license is required for all pathways to become a CTE, practical nursing teacher, even where an industry license isn't listed as a requirement. This is why this is important to carefully check the NYCE's requirements page for your industry area and pathway. So this is why we emphasize this because the example of there's the pathways that would specifically say that an industry credential is needed for to qualify for this particular pathway. But an example with the practical nursing industry area, you have to have that RN credential across all pathways. So this is why it's important to double and triple check. As a second example, let's take a look at David. David has worked as a medical assistant in a doctor's office for the past 3 years. David holds an American Association of Medical Assistants certificate. Because David has an industry related credential and he has had at least 2 years of work experience as a medical assistant, he should pursue Pathway G. And in the resources later on in the QR codes, will direct you to the state's website where you can see acceptable industry credentials for your particular industry area that you're interested in to see which industry credentials NICED will accept for Trans A certification. As our last example, let's consider Jasmine. Jasmine has been working as a paramedic for 5 years since she graduated from high school. Jasmine should pursue Pathway B, which does not require any higher education after high school or a GED. However, Jasmine will have to take a New York State Communication and Quantitative Skills exam. So now we will dive into the next steps to becoming a CTE healthcare teacher, the job search process, and answering questions you may have at the conclusion of the presentation. So we know that the CTE application and certification process can be quite confusing. So we've broken down the process into 6 steps, which we will now walk through in detail to help you kickstart your CTE journey at NYC Public Schools. So first, you're going to select the CTE health science industry area as the area that you want to apply for. Be sure to carefully read the requirements on the state's page to make sure you will meet the qualifications for your selected industry area. Next, you're going to select your certification pathway for your desired CTE health science industry area. Look at the various pathway requirements on the state's website and ask yourself the following questions to determine what pathway is right for you. Ask yourself questions such as, what is your education level and background? What is your experience? What, if any, credentials do you hold? Have you completed an industry level assessment? Remember, there's no one size fits all option to choosing your pathway, and you may find that you qualify for more than one. It is at the discretion of a candidate to determine which particular pathway you want to apply for. But if in the event that you find that there are multiple pathways in the list of pathways that you could qualify for based off your experience, select the one that you believe will allow you to obtain certification based on the requirements outlined by NYCED. As we mentioned, Trans A certification comes from the New York State Education Department. So you will want to create a NYCED Teach account to apply for Trans A certification. This is where all documents related to your certification, like education transcripts, evidence of industry credentials, etc., will be uploaded. And this is a QR code to the Teach application. Your required documentation will depend on the pathway you selected. However, all pathways will require you to submit a work verification form to NYCED. Please be sure to get a copy of any work verification form submitted on your behalf. You may need it for follow-up, and this is how NYCED make determinations around if your work experience meets the requirements for the industry area and pathway you're applying for. So it's important to have this document filled out on your behalf and also keep a note of it for yourself if needed for future reference. And just to reiterate, New York City Public Schools is a separate entity from the New York State Education Department, which means the Trans A certification application is separate from applying to the New York City Public Schools teacher application. You need to complete both, as you should do, and you should do both at the same time. In order to submit your NYCPS teacher application, you'll need to visit that website we mentioned in the beginning, teachnyc.net, where you can access all resources, our application, etc., to get started and submit an NYCPS application. The 2026-2027 NYCPS teacher application is open, and you can apply now to gain access to CTE job opportunities at New York City Public Schools. Next, you're going to want to update your resume to get ready for your CTE teacher application. This is a follow-up on the NYCPS application. Here are some tips to consider when updating your resume. Make sure relevant experience for your industry area is visually prominent with headings like related industry experience. Be sure to clearly describe your roles and responsibilities to highlight your years of experience. Keep in mind that your resume is pertinent to the review of the NYCPS teacher application. It will allow us to review your experience against requirements for the New York State Education Department for your desired industry area, which will determine if your application is successfully screened and gain access to NYCPS CTE job opportunities. So oftentimes when we get inquiries from candidates about why their applications were declined, this is why we emphasize this part. Our evaluation of your application is in accordance to NYCED's requirements for your industry area. So we are evaluating your resume according to the requirements that NYCED lays out. So this is why we emphasize putting the information clearly, and making sure it aligns with NYSE's requirements, because that is what your NYCPS application is being evaluated against. Just to give you a sense of the typical application and hiring timeline, the application typically opens in January and remains open through the summer. There is a lot of mid-year hiring that takes place during the early winter months, and then principals begin hiring and interviewing for the following school year. Early commitment is an initiative for candidates certified in high need subject areas to be able to accept positions in certain districts prior to budgets being released for peak hiring. This year, we even had a stipend available for eligible high need subject area candidates who accepted an early commitment before June 16th. The final peak hiring is June through August. And just a reminder that the peak hiring application deadline is on May 7th. And just to highlight again, the early commitment program enables teacher candidates to secure a job offer from schools in select districts, securing a position by June 15, and gives you an opportunity to earn a stipend. All subjects are eligible. Schools in select districts can make hiring commitments to candidates between March and June, and stipend amount varies by district, and you can find more information on this on that teachnyc.net website that goes into detail about our early commitment program. So we're almost there. Step 5, you want to be sure to complete your required workshops. NYCPS is an official provider of these workshops, which you can find more information about on this QR code. Now, step 6, begin your job search. So you selected your industry and pathway, you submitted your NYSET and NYCPS applications, and collected your updated resume and documentation. It's time to begin your job search now. Our office will review your NYCPS application. If it seems like you meet the state's requirements for your selected industry and pathway, your application will be entered into the new teacher finder, or the NTF. This is our online job board, and we'll talk more about it shortly. Remember that you are responsible for finding your own job, and securing a job offer and committing to 3 years of teaching is the state's requirements for obtaining Trans A certification. We offer lots of job search supports and encourage you to take advantage of them all, including researching schools online, conducting direct outreach to schools, using the new teacher finder, or the NTF, and the vacancy list we send you via email, and attending workshops and networking events that you may be invited to. One way you can promote success in your job search is by considering districts, neighborhoods, and schools where your talents are most needed. If you are certified in a certain high need uh, subject area, this is especially true. If you're really determined to work here, you should also think strategically about where you're looking for a position. If you want to go where the jobs are, consider teaching in positions like the Bronx, in places like the Bronx and Brooklyn. This year, 58% of our new hires occur in schools in these two boroughs. It's important that you find schools that are the right for you, but do not exclude schools because they are slightly out of your comfort zone or in a different borough from where you live. Almost all of our schools are easily accessible by public transportation, and we have students who need great teachers in all 5 boroughs. As we mentioned, one of our helpful job search tools is the new teacher finder. Once you submit a highly qualified or high quality application, you will get access to the NTF. You will be able to log in and use a new teacher finder in several ways. Your application profile will become viewable to principals and recruiters. You'll be able to search for teaching positions. It's important to know that not all principals list positions in the NTF, but many do, and this will give you a sense of what's out there. Principals may not post positions, but they could be looking and reviewing resumes to see which candidates can be a good fit for their schools. If you are certified in a high need subject area, you may receive invitations to NYCPS sponsored recruitment events during the spring or summer. It's important to note not all candidates are invited to all events online and in person. Overall, application quality, event capacity, and current certification needs are taken into consideration when inviting candidates to networking events. And here's a screenshot of what the new teacher finder looks like. After selecting search all positions on the left panel, you can filter for position type, your preferred borough, grade level, and subject area. Principals enter their vacancies into the NTF, and while you can express interest via the NTF, you should also email principals directly. To learn more about specific schools, you can go to schools.nyc.gov and use the school search feature right on the homepage. You can search for schools by name, borough, or grade level to help narrow down your options. However, you'll want to remember that the tools list every school in our system, not just the ones with openings. Once you've identified the schools that interest you, you'll need to contact them directly to inquire about position availability. To learn more about an individual school, you can click on an individual school's name and it will take you to the page that contains a wealth of information about a school. Click on the school's website to go directly to their website. Click on Overview to see some of the data about the grades levels, enrollment, district, and more. Click on School Quality for direct links to school quality guides and reports for the school. Click on Reports for additional information about schools' programs, finances, and way more. So let's take a deep breath in. We've made it this far and we're almost at the end. I know we've covered a lot of information, but let's briefly recap the CTE process, your next steps, as well as where you can get additional support. We'll then go through the questions we haven't answered yet to see if there's any that we can address now before the conclusion of the presentation. As a brief recap, a Trans-A certification is the main route for non-teacher candidates to teach CTE. There are multiple pathways to Trans-A certification, depending on your education and industry experience. Meeting the requirements of a pathway of your desired healthcare industry area is required for an NYCPS teacher application to be successfully screened. Securing employment with NYCPS and committing to 3 years to an NYCPS school is a requirement to obtain, in addition to requirements outlined in this presentation to obtain Trans-A certification. Follow the steps outlined to get started. As a preview to what happens after you receive a job offer, your principal will coordinate next steps with the district's human resource director. The HRD will contact you for documentation to submit the to NYCPS's CERT office. If the documentation submitted indicates that you meet the state's requirements for your selected pathway, the CERT office will grant you a temporary certification so you can begin teaching. Note that they will only do this if they are confident you meet the state requirements, so be sure to double and triple check those requirements on the state's websites before applying. As we mentioned, Trans-A certification is only valid for 3 years. Within those 3 years, you will need to complete 3 courses, which are 9 credits total, as well as paid teaching. Visit the QR code included here to learn more about initial certification for Trans-A candidates. And as we mentioned throughout the presentation, you can visit us on our online support center for 24/7 support with the application and hiring process. The support center contains hundreds of articles about every stage of the application and hiring process, as well as a contact us button where you can submit your questions to the help desk for a personalized response. And subscribe to our teachnyc.net to stay connected to our resources, communications, and updates, and way more. We are active on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Last season, we reached millions of prospective and current teachers through our posts. Follow us and tag us to join the conversation. You can also check us out on YouTube to watch video recordings of all our information sessions, teacher spotlights, and more. As we said, within 24 to 48 hours, you will receive a recording of this session. This is also where you can access these recordings indefinitely if you're not able to locate the email in the future. Our YouTube is where all our recordings are housed. And here are some additional links to websites and resources that can support you through this process, which include the NYCET CTE site. That's anything regarding CTE certification, Trans-A certification, has all the resources around descriptive detail about the requirements, industry credentials, etc. All things Trans-A certification with the state. We have our we have our Teach NYC CTE site. That's our resource that helps you navigate NYCPS application as a Trans-A candidate, in addition to resources to navigating certification with the state. And then our NYCPS CTE site, we can learn more about our programs and offerings for students in our schools. And once again, our 24/7 online support center where you can reach out to us with personalized questions for support.